In this video, I'll show you how to build a Chrome extension completely with AI. My name is Moritz. I've built an app that now does 20K per month completely with AI without knowing how to code. I used to work in product management and now I build software applications full time. We will build this Chrome extension in 3 steps. First, we're going to do a bit of a planning phase to brainstorm some of the features. Then we're going to build the entire Chrome extension from start to finish in Cursor just by talking to the AI. And finally, I'm going to show you all of the steps that you'll need to take to actually publish this Chrome extension on the Chrome Web Store. Why do I think Chrome extensions are really cool to build? Because, well, first of all, they're relatively easy to build. So it's very good for beginners who have never built anything with AI or never coded before to get started. And second, you can actually tap into a huge market with Chrome extensions because the majority of people using the internet are using the Chrome browser. So it has a very large market. And you can therefore tap into that and get discovered quite easily. So let's get into it. Okay, my idea for this Chrome extension is basically an idea finder for X. So when I'm scrolling through X, I am looking for ideas. And then, for example, let's say this is a tweet that I think is a good idea and I kind of want to remix it. Then I should be able to click on my Chrome extension and it will take in the information from the tweet and basically remix it and give me a bunch of ideas how I can do a similar tweet. And whenever I start a new project like this, I like to do a quick planning phase and I like to use Claude for that. So in this planning phase, I basically just want to, first of all, build a context boundary. So put a bunch of context into this chat so that I can come back and reference it later if I need to ask some questions. And I also want to find out a few things before I start. So one is kind of what are the essential features that I should build in this first very MVP version, and also brainstorm a bit about technical considerations. Okay, then let's start. I want to build a Chrome extension. Let's me view a tweet and let's me select a tweet, click the Chrome extension, and it will then generate 10 ideas similar to that tweet based on the context of my content and audience that I have specified before. Help me think about the essential features for this to start with. Okay, so Claude is very eager and it starts writing code, and I don't want that right now. How to say, don't write any code yet. Just help me brainstorm the essential features and reduce them to a minimum P. Yeah. Okay, so it gave me a bunch of ideas. So it says a simple right-click context window to select tweets, support for both Twitter X platforms. Okay. Simplified user profile, single settings page, content themes, target audience, your preferred writing style. So I think it goes a bit too far. So I should probably reduce it a bit, but it's good that it's kind of giving me these ideas. But yeah, I'll tell it to reduce it to an even more minimum viable product. Make it even simpler, no preferred writing style. It should just read the tweet on the screen. That should be passed to Anthropic API, and using that information and the information in the settings, the ideas can be generated. Just super simple. Okay. Let's strip it down to the absolute essentials. One-click tweet capture, content themes. So for the settings, just content themes, what topics you usually cover, and target audience. Okay. Processing, send capture tweet and your settings to Anthropic API. Request 10 similar tweet ideas. No custom parameters or complicated options. Sounds good. Simple results display, clean pop-up showing the captured tweet. For reference, I don't think we need that. Just list of 10 generated ideas. Okay, for the simple results display, we don't need to show the captured tweet, and also we don't need the basic copy button, just the list of 10 generated ideas. Okay, this looks good, very simple. Now let's go into the technical considerations. Let's brainstorm some of the technical considerations here. Just draw out for me how this would look like technically and what I need to consider. Okay, it kind of goes into the extension structure. Makes sense. So it should have an options page for one-time settings configuration, data flow, Content script, extract tweets from current page. Background script handles API communication. Storage API saves user profile settings. Okay, so storage handlings. Use Chrome's storage API to save user preferences. Consider data persistence across browser sessions. Okay, security considerations. Secure storage of API keys. Sure. Optimize API calls. So this is kind of going too much again, since we really just want an MVP here. Keep it very simple. We don't really need to think about performance yet or security. It should just be an MVP. Okay, so we have basic components, manifest file, content script, pop-up page, options page, background script, simple data flow, user clicks, extension reads, tweet from the page. Okay, so this looks good to me. And for me now, the planning phase is done and I can use this to start building. So let's go into Cursor and start building. Okay, we're in Cursor now. I have a new project opened. It's completely empty and let's start building now. So I'll have the AI chat here on the side and the agent mode selected. And for now, I will be using 3.5 Sonnet in the agent mode. So as we figured out in the planning phase, we want to build this very simple MVP Chrome extension. And what I'm doing now in Cursor, I will start in an even smaller step, because I don't want to give it the entire thing. So it starts building everything. It will likely end up in errors. I will start with a very small step that I can just test and then start adding the other features that I had planned in my planning phase. So the first step I will do is to just build an extension which reads the content from the tweet. Build a Chrome extension that when I am on a page in X, it reads the content of the post and extracts just the text and then displays that in the Chrome extension. Okay, so super simple version to start, just to test if this first functionality is working. Starting to create the basic files, the skeleton of this project. Okay, it wrote these files here, and now let's accept them all. And one thing that I can already see that's going to be an issue is please remove all of the icons in the code for now. We don't need them for testing. Okay, I've removed the icons just so it's easier for us to test this. Now let's load this extension and see what happens. So we will have to go here into Chrome extensions, have the developer mode active, and then select load unpacked. These instructions were given here to install the extension. You'll have to do this and this. So let's find our folder, then we can open it up, and then here's the extension, we can see it. Let's find it here as well and pin it. Okay, now let's see if it actually works already. Okay, so the extension is displaying, but the text could not be extracted. So let's take a screenshot of this. The extension is displaying, but it says the text could not be extracted. Do you want me to provide you a copy of the HTML so that you know where to extract the text? So I'm kind of just like asking it if I should provide some information to help it out. Yeah, it says here, since social media platforms often have specific DOM structures, may load content dynamically, we'll need to modify the content script to target specific elements containing the post text once you share the HTML. Okay, so let me do this. Basically, the way to get the HTML here is to click on inspect, and then I can just, I guess, select the whole thing or not. Let me find the text in here. Okay, so I can copy this. This seems to be the relevant element. So it has a text in here. I think that's enough. Let's paste this. Okay, it made some changes. Let's see if it actually worked. The Chrome extension still says could not extract the tweet text. Nice, now it worked. So it seems to have added some debugging here into the extraction as well. And then it says successfully extracted text. And this is the text that you can see here on the screen. So yeah, looks good. Okay, now before we continue, let's save this so that we do a git commit, initialize the repository here, and just make sure we save our progress. Text extraction working. Let's commit this. Okay, now we can continue building. Just make sure to do this regularly, just so that we don't lose our progress. Now, I've also removed the debugging as well from the extraction. So now it should work with just the text itself being extracted. Yep. Let's test another one. Yep, it works. Okay, cool. Okay, now we can build the next part of this. And what we want to do now is, I guess, add in the API integration. Build an API integration to Anthropic so that we can pass the tweet content into the API and get 10 ideas back related to that content. So right now we're just going to build the integration, and later on we're going to add the part of, the kind of enriching the ideas with whatever audience and content style you have yourself, which we will be setting in the settings. But for now, we just want to take the tweet content, send it off, and get ideas back. Okay, so what it seems to have built now is then we'll extract the tweet text when requested, send it to Anthropic API, get back 10 creative ideas, parse and format the response, return it to your extensions UI. Okay, and all we need to do is replace the API key placeholder here with the actual API key. So let's go and get that and paste that in there. Okay, I've added the API key. Now let's go and test this, reload the extension. Okay, so text is still being extracted, but I guess something is going wrong with the API. So let's debug this. Okay, we've added the Anthropic API key, and then there was a little bug, and it fixed a few things there. And I kind of just had to, I saw errors here and just pasted it back in. And it helped me set up the API properly. So now we can test it again. Okay, so it's somehow loading. I'm guessing it is getting something from the API, but then it's just displaying this text again. So let's see what's the problem here. Okay, I'm guessing that the API is called correctly now. I can see a loading, but then the original tweet text is just displayed in the extension, nothing else. So let's add some debugging into the extension again so that we can see what's happening and where in the flow something is going wrong. Okay, so I just added some more details about what it should debug and what I think the problem is, saying that the API is probably being called correctly because I can see the loading sign. And then it said, let's add some debugging and let me check the contents. And then it kind of realized that it's a mistake and just started fixing the popup.js file. So it did those fixes and I accepted them. Now let's go and reload the extension. And now if I open up a tweet, let's click on this. Okay, I don't know why this sometimes happens. I think maybe if the page hasn't fully loaded. Okay, so loading, which means the API thing is probably happening. And there we go. Okay, cool. So it shows the original tweet. This is the tweet. Oops, now we need to do it again. So we can definitely still improve that it somehow stores this information. We don't need to call it again, but we can see here the original tweet is here, and then the generated ideas which are coming from the AI are here. Okay, so yeah, we can definitely still improve that prompt, the way that these ideas work, but we have the basic connection now set up, which is awesome. Okay, let's fix one thing in the UI just to make it a bit smoother. So right now, when I click to open the extension, loading shows up and then the API call is basically happening. What I want to happen instead is when I click on the extension, just show the original tweet in the UI of the extension first. And then below that, for the ideas part, you can show loading until the API response has gotten back. Okay, let's test this. So it's showing the original tweet now first, and then generating the creative ideas. So it's calling the API right now to get the ideas. And then once the ideas come, it shows them here. Cool. Okay, next I want to make sure that when I close the extension, that the information is not lost. So we need to store it somehow. Make sure that once the ideas have been extracted, it should be stored locally somehow so that when I close the extension, I don't need to do the extraction again. Okay. It implemented quite a lot here with local stores, so let's check it out. It's now failing to generate the ideas, so I guess it broke something. Let's fix that. I'm now getting this error and it's failing to show just the ideas from the API. Added, okay, it made two important changes. Added storage permission to the manifest file, made the storage operations in background.js more resilient. Let's try it out. Okay, so far looking good. Now let's close the extension. Nice. So it's persistent. It didn't go away. That tells me it's stored. Now let's go to a new tweet. We'll extract this. Okay, yeah, it's generating the new ideas. Cool, putting the new ideas here. So let's close this and yep, still there. Okay, it works. Cool. Okay, next we will want to create the settings page where I can actually store an API key and where I can specify the type of content that I create and my audience information. Okay, I want you to now create a settings page, and in that settings page, I can store my Anthropic API key, and we should then be using that API key to make the API calls. Okay, so it created the settings page, set up something so we can save the API key there, and kind of did the rest. So let's accept that and let's try it out. Okay, so what it did now is when you click on the settings page, it kind of opens up another page here, and then you can save your API key in there, and then it works. But I didn't like that so much. I actually wanted the settings to just be within the extension. So that's what it's doing right now. Okay, now what we have is we open up this extension. We have a settings button here. It opens up within the pop-up another page where we can save the API key, and then we can go back, and now it should be using this API key. Now let's open up another tweet and to re-trigger the API call, generating new ideas. And so we can then see if the API key is stored properly. Yep. Okay. Looks good. Okay. This part worked. And by the way, we're just going to build all of the functionality now first. And later on, in the end, we will actually just make the whole thing look a bit nicer. Right now, it still looks bad, but we're going to make it nicer. Okay. And the final component that is missing now is that we need to add also inside of the settings page. I think that would be the best place to put it, to just let me specify some information about my content themes and my audience so that we can then modify the prompt and use the tweet text. So this stuff here, use it together with whatever I'm specifying there in the settings, send it all off, and then get ideas relevant to all of that. Okay, so this is the last kind of bit that we now need to implement. Okay, inside of the settings page, I now want you to add two more input fields for me. One is for my content themes and my target audience. And this is information about my own content so that we can then use this information, send it off along with the tweet content to the API so that we get ideas that are more relevant to our own content. Okay, done. These changes will now allow you to specify their content themes and target audience in settings. Persist these settings between sessions. Good. Include this context in the API calls to generate more relevant and targeted ideas. Okay, let's test it out. Okay, cool. Content themes. So how to build software applications with AI. So this is like kind of my main theme. Beginners, people with not a lot of or any programming experience. Okay, save settings. Settings saved. Cool. And now let's take a tweet that's relevant, a bit more relevant to my content. Now it might be a bit hard to check if it's actually working. We will have to judge based on the ideas. Okay, so I can't really tell from what it said if it's actually working. Let's try here. Well, this one will actually, maybe this one will work because there's not much information in the tweet. So no, I'm not sure if it worked. Let's have a look. Where is the information being passed to the API? So, okay, it is passing these variables apparently. So that's good. Okay. So it looks like just by glancing at the code that it's done correctly. So it might be just a matter of us trying to optimize the prompt. Okay, let's just ask the AI. How can I make sure that the responses are appropriate to these themes and the audience? How do I test this? Okay, so it implemented a few changes here for us to be able to test this better. So let's see. Okay, nice. So it does pick up on that. So it says the generated ideas, 10 creative ideas, and then it kind of uses my content theme and puts it in front of the idea. Okay, so it seems to work. It's just a matter of kind of refining the prompt there a bit. Let's try it on this tweet. Oh, nice. Yeah, okay, it's just a matter of refining the prompt now, it seems. Cool, so we have the functionality working. And yeah, the prompt refinement process can take a while since you just need to like get the prompts in a way that these ideas are actually good and helpful for you. but the functionality of the app is working. And I think the only thing left to do is just maybe make it a bit prettier. So let's do that. Okay, keep all of the functionality of this extension. Don't make any changes to the functionality. I just want you to make it look a bit more modern and have a nice UI. All right, how does it look? Oh, that got really bad. Okay, the AI messed this one up. So I'm guessing it's just a matter of the placement of the text. So it kind of put it like horizontal instead of keeping it as vertical. I mean, what we can try is I will restore the previous, restore this. Then I will just ask V0 to improve this. Improve this design of this Chrome extension. Don't modify any of its functionality. I just want a better design. Okay, nice. So we can see V0 is definitely much better at design. It looks very good. We should remove a few things though, just so it doesn't confuse it. Like I like this, but we don't need this regenerate here. And we also don't have this functionality, but we could add it. And we also don't have the copy and tweet buttons. Or let's try it like that. I'll just screenshot it. Use the reference image. Okay, it's done. Let's check it out. Not bad. The only thing that it did add are the buttons, so I'll just have to remove those again. And there's something wrong with the icons in the buttons. That's why it's showing up like this. There seems to be something wrong with the icons here. They're not formatting correctly. Okay. Replace all emoji icons with SVG icons. Okay, sounds good. It's accepted. And we can check it out. Awesome, this looks much better. So we have these buttons here. We can still add functionality to them, but the design looks a lot better now. The only thing we could fix is the double scroll bar here. And yeah, the settings page looks good too. Okay, awesome. Okay, I have cleaned this up a bit. And this extension looks really good now. So we have the tweet here, we have the generated ideas here in these cards, and then we have this copy button, which we can also implement and basically copy the idea. So this is a nice looking extension now that also works, very useful also. All we might need to do is just optimize the prompts a bit behind it to make this like really useful. And yeah, we have an extension. So the next thing I want to show you now is just how I would go through the steps to get this extension live in the Chrome Web Store. To get this extension live on the Chrome Web Store, there are a couple things you want to do. The first thing is to get the icons ready. So you just want to basically create an icon in Canva, for example, and then you can upload it and add it into the extension so that basically you can see an icon here. Then, you're going to want to finalize the name, maybe do a few security checks, just like ask the AI, are there any things in here that might not be totally secure and how can we fix it? Just make sure that you do not have any API keys stored in here, for example. In my case, I do, so I would remove that before. So just do like these basic checks. After that, what you can do is you go into you find your extension, and you can basically take all of these files and just create a zip. So you can compress it here and that will create a zip file. And you're going to need that zip file later. Okay, and then you will head into this website here, developer.chrome.com, web store. And here you can then open your developer dashboard. And if you do it for the first time, you'll have to create an account. I think opening the account actually costs $5. So you'll have to pay that. And then I think there's like a short review process. And after that, your account is open. And then you're going to have this page here where you can upload your extension. So you're going to go here and press new item. And that's where you can drop in the zip file, which contains the entire extension and all of the code within it. Upload it here. And once you've done that, I'm just going to click into one of my projects here, which is just a project I created for a program of mine with like a Twitter content template generator extension. And yeah, you upload that. And what's left to do now is you're going to have to fill out this information regarding the store listing. So this is basically the front page of your extension. It's going to have your name, and then you're going to have this description part. What I did here was I just found some other extension with a description that I liked, put it into AI and told it to rewrite it for my extension and then modified it slightly. And then upload your images, your assets here, the icon, and you can create some additional images for marketing. I also created these in Canva. You can add a link here, and that's pretty much it for this part. And then what's left is this privacy page. So this page is basically describing the permissions that you're giving this extension and giving some justification for it. So for example, here, the active tab permission is required to access. So you basically have to explain why your extension needs certain permissions. And when I did this the first time, I had no idea what all of this meant. So all I did was just took a screenshot of this and pasted it here into the context of, the project, into the AI here, and told it to write these for me, because the AI here in Cursor has the context of all of your permissions. And the AI basically wrote out all of these for me, and these were fine. Same here, I just took a screenshot of which boxes I should be ticking, and then just wrote a simple privacy policy and put that live on the Notion site, and then put the link here. And then you're done. Then you just hit submit for review. The review process will usually take a couple of days, and mine actually I think it got approved on the first time, and then later on when I resubmitted an updated version, it got rejected, but just because one of the marketing assets was wrong. So I think the approval process is not super stringent. But yeah, if it comes back with a rejection, then obviously you'll see the reason for it, and then you can fix it and resubmit. And if you found this helpful and want to build your own software product, I have a community here called the Prompt Warrior community. Inside, I personally help you find an app idea, help you to build it with AI, and I also help you to market it so that you can reach 3K per month. We have a bunch of courses in here. We have regular office hours and a nice and active community. I'll put the link below in this video if you want to check it out. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one.